We are gonna talk about sectioning, tied into body positioning, where to stand, and how to approach the haircut and take your sections, which are the diagram, to the shape or creating the roadmap of where you're gonna go in your haircut. Good day, everybody. So we are gonna start by really speaking to body position and taking that a few steps further. With regard to body position, our body position is gonna be indicated by where our hands are, and our feet are gonna help dictate where our hands and body go. So they really work in unison. My point to that is I don't wanna have my feet in a stationary area and working or leaning across my body, because then I'm not gonna have the balance that I need, and I need to keep everything square that we noted in our prior body position presentation. The first thing I'm gonna discuss is if I'm taking hair and I'm gonna pull the hair flat to the floor, then what I wanna focus on in my haircut or in my sectioning is where my hair and hand and body are in relationship. So if I'm taking a haircut or a section as if I was gonna blow dry, I wanna make sure that I take a section that is parallel to the floor, and as I take that section, I want to grasp the hair in my hand. I wanna make a clean turn and fold, one turn, and then I wanna come through with a clip and clip it tight and flat to the head. What that does is it will allow me to see my section, see that I have a straight line, and then also see the angle in which I'm gonna be combing this down to the floor to cut the haircut or to blow dry. If I'm doing a blow dry, my sections should always be parted out in a way that indicates where I'm going with the haircut or my blow dry. This is your roadmap, this is your story, this is your illustration to your work before you've ever put it into an actual design and or shape. So that would be one of the biggest pieces that I want you to really focus on. When we take that section, we want to ensure that we comb this section straight down and our comb follows and they come down parallel to the floor, providing I want a straight line. If I choose to have a section or an angle that is diagonal, I will then always part to my finger. I will take my section, hold it in my hand, in kind of the Y of your hand, if you will, or the L, and I would take that section and I would make a clean part line at a slight diagonal line. If that line is now parted at a slight diagonal line, then what I want to ensure is that my comb then comes in at a slight diagonal line. So again, as mentioned earlier, this is your roadmap, this is your design, this is, in essence, your Siri on your iPhone. When you click on your link, it will give you the direction of where you're going, and you need to follow that. Otherwise, you're gonna wind up in the wrong place. You, your guest, your client, your model, or whatever it is that you're focused on will not wind up being the results you want. So let's talk about a comb. So there's a variety of combs. One thing that we want to focus on with a comb is we want to have fine teeth and we want to have large teeth. The reason we want fine teeth is the finer teeth are going to give us more tension. The large teeth are going to give us less tension. So if I'm sectioning and I'm parting and I'm moving through the hair to start with, I might choose to use the larger teeth because I'm going to get less tension as I'm moving through the hair, so I can manipulate and make the hair move where I want it to go, and it's a bit more malleable. As I go to create more tension in my haircut, I would then rotate in with my fine teeth. When you're holding a comb, you want to hold it with the spine to you, so you can see it this way, and I want to be able to rotate the comb to create movement. So if I'm cutting or sectioning, I can rotate or rotate, rotate or rotate. You want to have it to where you have control, and this just becomes an extension of your hand, because as you're combing in a haircut, this becomes your haircut. This is what's gonna pencil in and give you the direction and the dynamic of where you're going for each style design. When we're working with your comb, we want to make sure that we may start with the larger teeth, because the larger teeth are gonna be much more open. Your finer teeth are gonna be tighter. So what that would mean is your larger teeth are gonna give you less grip, less tension. Your finer teeth are gonna give you more grip and more tension. You also have the spine of the comb that we'll be using in many haircuts or sectioning in a haircut. So when I start my section, I might choose to use my larger teeth and the point edge of my comb, and I want to make sure that I drive my comb straight to my finger so I get the section or the angle that I'm after. Once that's been achieved, then I could, with my larger tooth, then I could turn around, comb through it with my large tooth. As you can see, it's not gonna give it as much tension. You can see it in the hair. And if I want less tension in my haircut, I would stay with a larger tooth. If I choose that I want things to be much more refined, tighter, cleaner, and build a stronger shape, then I would go through and I would add more tension to my haircut. The same is true if I was to come through with a round brush or any other tool. My round brush, a 7 or a 9 row brush, whatever brush it is, we want that all to fall in line, and your sectionings will always speak and indicate the angle at which your brush should be introduced to the hair. As I work up through the head, I would then always mirror my section by section. And when I take my sections, I'm gonna move it a finger width or a comb width to make sure I set up my shape as I progress through my head. As I go to the next section, again, I'm pointing to my finger, and I would then choke up on my comb, because if I'm out here, I don't have any control. I'm gonna be arcing the hair. I want to choke up on my comb, use my larger tooth. That's gonna be less pointed. It's gonna glide through the hair. And another thing that I want to touch on is in this, notice I already groom the hair in the direction I want it to go. So then when I go to take my section, I can cleanly move through the section, separate it out, place the hair where it needs to live, in which to execute whatever design I'm about to approach. That is the importance of sectioning and making sure that if you're cutting flat to the floor, you're following a flat line and everything moves together in unison. There's no shortcuts to success, so this is no time to think you can.